Hello, friends and family, and welcome back to Licksmas. Today's going to be day 10, hosted by your boy, and I'm going to welcome you and welcome Sam, Max, and Cassidy to the discussion. Say hello, gentlemen.
How's it going?
Yeah. So today, the licks that I want to talk about, it's not really licks, it's more of like a way of life. And you can see the top stanza here. It says fours. And then over here it says sixes. And I don't mean to say fourths or sixths. Fours and sixes, and I mean like a 4-note length rhythm. That is a 4-note roll. Repeated indefinitely. These guys who use Sibelius, when they don't see a rest here, they get utterly confused and they stop. The universe implodes upon them and they can't think without the rest being there. But for all the normal people who use table edit, you see the roll and we work from there. That right there is, of course, the alternate middle roll that gets you this kind of sound. And this guy is, of course, a double middle reverse. And this right here is a 6-note kind of like index forward, middle reverse roll. And then while we're here, one thing I just want to say before I give any of the other speakers time to talk is that with the 4-note rolls, the first string will always emphasize the click. And the sixes are going to alternate. They're going to emphasize the downbeat and then the offbeat. So it's going to be like... So every other 6, you're going to land back on the downbeat. And that's a very interesting property. This 6 is, of course, from the Balearic Freeborn Man solo. Like... And then I think I'm ready to have the boys chime in and discuss this if they have anything to say now that they've gotten over the fact that the rests aren't written in.
Oh, I still haven't gotten over that.
Yeah.
No, neither have I.
Well, maybe Cassidy can speak. Maybe because he's the bravest among you.
Trying to seek out the one who won't complain about this.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear more from Max and Sam.
Max, Sam is speechless, so it's up to you
Okay, well,
to carry the torch.
I'm trying to think what I want to add that would actually be pertinent and useful to the listener. Well, Ricky? Do you have any one thing when I always see these roll patterns, it always sort of gets me thinking about like fingerings, because like a revelation I had many years ago, I think from Alan Mundy or someone, was when I really started to think roll patterns aren't the strings you play, but the fingers you use. So they're finger patterns, not string patterns. So I can of course improvise here and come up with examples, but I was curious if you had ways you wanted to talk about implementing these roll patterns in terms of incorporating the left hand.
Yeah. This one, for instance, that double 6, one that I got at Banjo Camp, and I think we talked about this last time, but that. And then you can turn that into a 16-note roll by.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like that one is awesome, and with like some line cliches in the full. That one's great for backup.
That's
Yeah,
great
and
too,
then
yeah.
and then shifting on the thumb is nice. So
That's very nice.
Well, I think you just started to broach the question that I wanted to, kind of a devil's advocate, and there's a Platonic question that I wanted to add.
Here we go.
Which is like so these are 6-note rolls, or 6-note figures rather. We're commonly playing in like 2/4 or 4/4 duple meters. So what is that? I mean, how do you find that interaction helping or hinder? How do we deal with that, right, when we're soloing over a tune?
Well, I think how we deal with it is using a 6, like a 6-note roll is automatic. If you shift every 6 notes, it's going to force you to be rhythmically displaced. So if you're just playing chords with the roll and you're shifting every 6, you're going to land on the chord a little before or a little after. And so it sounds pretty nifty to anticipate the chord change. So that's like one way that I don't know that I cope with using the 6s.
Right, right. So in that case, I guess you just have to hear the fact that you're anticipating the chord, and then you have to feel the sort of click almost when the chord actually comes slightly after when you play it.
Yes.
And I guess it's a question of, and this goes for all of the kind of rhythmic displacements we've been doing. Maybe this is just like not even worth saying, but you really need to be listening. This is kind of like in sports when like you got to keep your eye on the ball. And it seems so, too stupid to be worth saying, but it like is actually the key behind everything. And in this case in particular, you can't just be listening to yourself, right? You really have to be listening to yourself in relationship to what the rest. I mean, this is assuming you're playing with people, but most of us, that's how we're going to be engaging with this kind of music, right?
Is it bad that I think about these in threes? That's a question I have for you.
It's not necessarily bad. It's just I find the sixes are more hip.
Okay. I mean, I guess I'm sort of thinking about not like.
It's a double three.
Well, yeah, I'm not necessarily thinking about like actual like physical articulation. I'm thinking more about mental understanding, like how I'm sparsing this together in my mind as threes.
Yeah.
That's a great.
But it was also how you thought that 10, like, was just a single 10, but I was like, no, it's actually two fives.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my job to correct your thinking here, Max.
I thought you said it was a 10 and I said it was fives.
Oh wait, I said a double five. Oh yeah, now it's up to you to correct my thinking.
Yeah, you said it was the same thing. No, it's the same thing. So what okay, so you mentioned this is used in Freeborn Man. How does that go? How does Bailey use that in the Freeborn Man solo?
Let me pull it up. Let's see.
Which again, we mentioned the solo before. Epical solo, amazing.
So while you're pulling it up, maybe we could just talk a bit about this. Oh my heavens!
You've got
that.
Gosh, yes.
I left the fifth string out there. But it's, I mean, the fifth string would be there. He just didn't play it. I thought, I was young when I tabbed this out, and I thought it was fancy. But it's you can see, it's...
I see.
Yeah, so how to use it, he just kind of goes up like... I think it's tuned up in A, but... He just used it to get from the bottom of the neck up to the top.
Yeah, sure. This is, by the way, this is, I don't know, the first thing that strikes me is, like, technically speaking, at an intermediate, certainly at an advanced level, this is like maybe, this is trivial to play if it's already been written. If it is given to you as an object, it's like not hard to execute. But this is like really, I think, difficult to manage in the moment when there is a chord progression going on underneath you that you have to be aware of. And what you're doing, furthermore, stands in relationship to what came before and what came after, and it's developing and it's driving towards something. There's so much complexity going on here, and it is always fascinating to see it written out, and then to see actually maybe how simple the elements are that are composing it. I think is what is amazing.
Yeah.
But I would love to have this tab.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah, for me, it's like he's basically starting on C and then ending on G, and he's just kind of playing some like G7 notes to get up,
Well, we're C7 initially, right? Right. And now we're in G, yeah.
And some chromatic notes, but for me, and I'm certainly not as harmonically sophisticated as maybe the other members of the chat, but it's more important for me, like, because I jam a lot and I play pretty fast, is that, like, where you're aiming is, like, more important than all the other notes in between. Like, maybe you're going to fudge a few of them, but you know what you're aiming for.
One thing I want to bring up
but
also,
I'm a wanker, so.
I like that this is this thing here is a pretty good demonstration of, like, connecting material for Scruggs and melodic style. Like this, like I'm thinking... Because I think a lot of us struggle a lot with connecting, our phrasing of melodic and Scruggs, and sometimes we compartmentalize those ways of thinking so much in our playing. And I think having connecting material like this.
Oh yeah.
And this here on measure 3.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then we can, of course, get into Cassidy's dovetailing theory about, like, we can connect this with other vocabulary and see about what chord comes next and figure out the best way to get there. But I think this...
We can also look at Cassidy's transcription of this, because I think Cassidy's transcription of this is different than mine.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, just to pick up on that, just one thing that I think of is this note is one of these notes where, as I've been illustrating in my videos, this note is one of those places where we build a lot of vocabulary, where we orient a lot of our vocabulary around. So one of the common places, and one of the things I've talked about in my video, is this. We can land on D, or that could be A, or it could be F, right? Or we could land on C. At any rate, this is so ubiquitous, right? So as soon as we hit this, we can turn it into, or we can turn it into,
Yeah.
right? So I can go, whatever it is. It has, it's automatic, right? You love is like a flower again. Or just like that. Or right, there's a bunch of things you can do. Or you can go up. Now I'm on the 5th string, and we can use one of the licks from my first video. You can go right, bunch of things. But that's kind of a tangent on. That's not actually related to Ricky's day necessarily. That's tangential. But it's related to other stuff we've discussed. So that's nice. But these, I think we should talk about sixths, even though that's not necessarily the crux of your lesson here, Ricky.
Yeah, well,
talk about the rolls are going to be most useful with sixths and I suppose fifths, but that's what you're going to be playing.
Well, yeah. But for me, what I want to get is chord arpeggios, and that's just playing inversions up and down, not necessarily scales, and not necessarily thinking about sixths or thirds or fifths or anything like that, but just playing straight triads as double stops. And with those rolls.
Yeah. It's not possible to play a solo in sixth without that. You can't avoid playing fifths. It's impossible. You can't do it. It's too limiting. But since you brought up this roll, that's a perfect thing for any two measure, C, D, or G, so you put down a C7 here, a C chord, take off the first string, make it open, and then put it on. Instead, fret the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, right? And you can do, excuse me, and then there I'm just bending the 3rd string. It's exactly the same roll. So again, and then here you can go, right, you can go, and the same ending. Or you could even, right, or you could even, something like that. That, I don't know, if it's a little longer D.
You can also, if you can use, if you need to, you can use the 4th string to complete that lick if you're coming out of 6th, by the way. Just kind of make... just to complete that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or whatever you want to do from the fifth string, yeah. Or yeah, whatever you want to do from the fifth string, or it could be. Yeah. Oh, you could connect it to Max's thing. Ah. Very nice. There you go. Or so you could go. Sorry. There you go. So to put that into a solo, you could do. Oh, hang on. That's not. Let's do Blue Ridge Cabin Home. No, what did I do? Right, so, It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I like that. I like all of that.
But yeah, so you can just find a 4-note way of playing a chord like that, and apply that roll to it, or C7, or F7, right, or whatever it is. Doesn't matter. It could go to C. It could go to you could have you could be in the key of C, right, or G7.
Yeah.
Again, that fifth string is a pivot, so any 4-note thing, I could use that to get to C like that. You know.
Yeah, so Cassie's basically talking about just playing the same roll and changing notes in the left hand.
Yeah.
And getting different figures by doing that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So to rein us in a little bit, I was talking about quarter arpeggios, and I just wanted to show a little bit about kind of going up one quarter arpeggio and then going down another. That kind of thing, and then also in sixes, which is going on in the next stanza.
Sounds like Greensleeves.
Kind of does, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's lovely. Yeah, groups of 6. Yeah, and this is wonderful for just free improvisation. You know, again, you don't have to. Your only goal here is not just putting this stuff into a tune. You know, just explore it first. Play with it and just freely improvise with it, just to start off with, right?
And then this last pattern, that guy, it's kind of like an inchworm thing. You move the bottom voice up, then the top voice, and add that with a 6-note roll. Or in this case, I did a 4-note roll up into my lick from the first day. That's one way to do it. And then what
How can we combine 4- and 6-note rolls together to make symmetrical, nice things?
Probably on the downbeat, or just where that middle finger is, like on the first string. It's funny because if you do a single 6, it'll put your 4s on the offbeat. So like if here's your 4s. finished.
So you just need another 6 to get you back on beat.
Yeah. I'm just kind of playing around with 6s and 4s and feeling like the downbeat, kind of like switching polarities.
Yeah.
Future Man refers to that as like playing like you're a dolphin. You're either in the water or you're out of the water. In the water and out of the water. I thought that was a very poetic way to describe just like playing on and off the downbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, but so a 6 and a 6 and a 4 is going to give you 16. So that's four bars and 2/4. You cover a lot of ground really quickly when you're playing these rolls and you're playing sixths. And I think it feels a lot faster than it does when you're playing a lot more complicated melodic and Scruggs vocabulary, because there's less melodically for your mind to think of. And I that's why I'm probably, it's just because of my inexperience, but I think of like things involving sixths as a way to reset a little bit in your solo while maybe you're planning to do. Now obviously you can use it to build tension. Also you could fill a hole if you're gonna be able to take multiple breaks worth in a row. You can really use these to kind of build tension towards, like you said, towards some kind of peroration or some kind of summit.
Some apotheosis lick.
Yes, yeah, culmination. But
some culminating lick, yeah.
But I was gonna say, if you're like intermediate and you go to jam sessions and you're just gonna get one time through the changes, you might not be able to play as many of these patterns as you think you can play before you run out of breaks. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Unless you live in Colorado.
Unless you live in Colorado.
Apparently.
Yeah. We're just, dude, my band, the infamous Crop Dusters, played the other day. And, dude, we took some seriously long breaks. It was fun. Dude,
no, but this is a good point. I suppose if you're convincing, if you're convincing in what you're doing, and you've made it, I'm halfway through, look, I've just reached this summit, this culmination, like, nobody's going to stop you,
Yeah.
But you kind of got to know what you're doing.
Well, no, but then it's up to the rhythm section to elevate it further.
True.
Yeah.
Just like in that recording of Reborn Man, yeah.
Yeah, dude. But he only soloed twice through the form. But at Banjo Camp, we got to play with Steve Moore a lot, right? And he does this arrangement of Lonesome Fiddle Blues, where it's a 3-part Lonesome Fiddle Blues. If you guys familiar with that tune? Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it just has it's an A part and a B part.
Monroe, right? Is it a Monroe tune?
I thought.
What'd you say?
I thought it was stolen from Charlie Daniels, or Charlie Daniels stole it from.
Oh.
No, like The Devil Went Down to Georgia was based on. I think it's a Vassar Clemens tune, isn't it?
Well, Bill Monroe stole everything. He's like Miles Davis.
But anyways, we have this open jam where it's like. And then we'll just play that indefinitely until the soloist elevates it, and then we go.
Nice.
And then we'll play that indefinitely till he cues it, and then into the tune. But yeah, but this kind of stuff is great to work over that,
And so the thing I wanted to bring up with Sam is that for those of you who are watching and listening carefully, I think it was the last discussion we talked about, 4 3s and 2 2s,
Mm-hmm.
and Sam just said, 2 6s and a 4, which is exactly the same thing, right? So you can use, if you're playing a solo in 6th and you're just going. See, the thing is, you can't just throw in 3s randomly. It's because it's going to mess you up rhythmically.
It's going to displace.
You have to have a way of getting back in. So it's like you just have to start with just one thing and get that into your muscle memory. So 1 is 2 6s and a 4. So you can go. So again, I'm just going to use Your Love Is Like a Flower and what Ricky's calling chord arpeggios. And some scales. Now how about this? I'll do the same thing, but I'll do 2 6s and a 4. 2 6s and a 4. I'm just going forward, 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 daka daka with that MITI roll, right? Because that lands on the second beat. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 4, right? It lands on that second beat of the second bar. Excuse me. Etc. Right?
Wow, that's fantastic. Cassie, I want to emphasize that's a really good fit. Like, if you want to know how do I take this and I practice it, I think the only way is to construct figures like that will line back up with the pulse at the end. And there's other ways to do it. 6-6-4 is a great way to start, or 6-4-6, or 4-6-6.
Like I say, any 4 3s.
Any combination of those, yeah.
A 4 somewhere. You need 4 3s, and then at some point a 4. Right?
Exactly. And so if you construct various combinations of those, you just pick one and play it for longer than you think you need to, because the goal is you're trying to build muscle memory, and you're trying to make it so that this is something that you don't need to think consciously about. All of this whole enterprise is about building like neural pathways to the point where you don't have to think consciously about it. That is, you don't have to plan explicitly, but instead there's some kind of anterior sight. There's like a looking into the future that's subconscious, where you kind of know, your muscles end up knowing what they need to do in order to end up where they need to end up. And the only way to do that is to consciously construct things you know will work and play them enough times that they become they become subconscious. Because, and I'm going to belabor this just like another 60 seconds. Believe it or not, most of your motor control is not managed explicitly by your brain. Is managed mostly by your spinal column. And so it doesn't begin that way. When you're first learning a new set of patterns or motions, it is managed explicitly by your brain. And that's particularly when it's still consciously controlled. But what happens is these programs for particular sequences of movements end up being built up in your spinal column, where they can essentially be triggered by the brain. So the brain can kind of know roughly what it wants to do, and it can trigger the appropriate program or algorithm that is sort of then run asynchronously from your spinal column. And so it comes to pass that most of the motor control it ends up being passed to your cerebellum or your spinal column, where you don't have to think about it. So that's just a long-winded way of saying you've got to get these things to where you don't have to think about them. And the only way to do that is to do it way more than you think you should have to, over and over and over again.
So in other words, it's not muscle memory, but spinal column memory.
Yeah, sure. It's nerve cell memory, but yeah.
I like that.
It's all in the spine.
That's right. Exactly.
There's a whole new definition of people who are spineless, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, just play what Cassidy just played. Just like listen to that again, scroll back in the YouTube video, and play that over and over again, and you'll have learned something useful.
Yeah, so just to start off with, like, right here's a roll for you. What is it? I'm trying to forget.
It's just 2 backwards, right?
Here it is. So it's. You could write this out, Ricky, if you would please.
Ricky's been mesmerized by my discussion of neurophysiology, and he's no longer useful to us.
It's all gone to his spine. That's what people should say now. Don't let it go to your head. No. Don't let it go to your spine.
That's right.
So, and then it's almost kind of symmetrical. And again, you'll notice that that's 2 3s and a 2. It's... Or you could think about it as 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. So you think about it as 2 3s and a 2, or you think about it as 3 2 3. Mm-hmm. I'm just showing you that 1 one measure is two threes and a two. You can think of that, or you can think of two measures as four threes and two twos, or two sixes, or yeah, two sixes and a four, or whatever. So, anyways, that's a nice roll because you can go. That's a nice pattern that, because it's interesting in and of itself, you can use that a lot, and it doesn't get boring. You could play a nice solo with just that roll, and just one. If you play it beautifully and you play it with a good sound and a mellifluous touch, you can just roll a 1/6 or chord inversion, right? As Ricky would say. So that includes this position here, which comes out of, if you play a bar chord and you play strings 1 and 3, you can use this, which is a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just using those, just one per measure, you can make a nice thing out of, again, Your Love Is Like a Flower. Or I'll use Blue Ridge Cabin Home if we're getting tired of that. Blue Ridge Cabin Home is G for 2 bars, C for 2 bars, D for 2 bars, G for 2 bars, and then it loops around. So let me see if I can do this. So that's a nice, pretty thing that you can do. Just one. You want to get used to being able to improvise just one. Like Ricky says, a chord inversion per measure, right? So, and you can just do it like this to start off with. So you're thinking 2 measures of G, 2 measures of C, 2 measures of G. If we're thinking Love Is Like a Flower, here's D. Here's G again, 2 measures. Is C, 2 measures, then 1, 5, 1, G, D, G. And then once you can do that, then maybe you can put a roll to it. And then you can mix it with Ricky's other roll. Sorry, where am I? I'm just something like that, right? You're mixing 2 rolls together now. Then the next step you take is maybe occasionally using two things. You're changing twice within the measure. So instead of going, I could go, right? So a nice
1,
trick
2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Yeah, I'm using the same measure. I'm using the same roll as is written down. I'm just changing the sixth or whatever I'm on the 6th note of it. Right?
You're doing 2 backwards rolls, right?
No. I'm using the roll that's on the screen.
The way I understand this roll, it's kind of like a forward backward roll, but backward forward.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you started on the second beat, it's just a forward backward roll. It's just led with the middle, because when we play sixths, when we play this stuff, we want to lead everything with the middle because the melody is on the first string. Right, that's why we do that. So now the simple trick is whatever one you're on, you can just go either side of it. So watch how this works. Here I just moved between 2 inversions of D7. There I just went all the way up. Then went down to C. What could I do? See how I'm just going. I'm on C, so I go below and back, right? And then move to another inversion. So you find out these little tricks. You say, oh, I'm on the thing. I go below and then back and then to an inversion. So I go G, below, back, inversion. C, below, back, inversion. G. Right now here I could go. I could just find the next inversion and just use the sixth that's within the scale above it to come down. And then I can pass here chromatically to D7. So I'll put all these things together. I'll do a couple of rounds of "You Love Is Like a Flower" if I can pull it off. And then again. So just a couple examples there that you can transcribe, more or less using the techniques that I
Those are great.
just discussed. But I'd love to do a longer video myself on that at some point when I've really worked out a clear method for it. But it'll get you started, I think.
Cool, guys. Well, I think that was a fair dinkum discussion about today's lick.
Well said, Ricky.
Let's wrap this up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Merry Licksmas. See you in day 11.
See ya.